circumcision. Alright. Let's see. Isaac kept it. Genesis 21 and 1. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said. And the Lord, which when you see Lord in capital letters in the Hebrew is Yahweh. Okay. So Yahweh did unto Sarah as he had spoken. And Sarah conceived. She took seed into the womb, became pregnant, and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old, and his son Isaac was born unto him. Okay, that's right. Okay, so Isaac was circumcised on the 8th day. Alright, Genesis 34. Alright, and 13 it says, the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said unto them, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised. Okay, for that were a reproach unto us. Okay, but in this will we consent unto you, if ye be as we be, that every man among you, that every male of you be circumcised. Okay, proving that not only was Jacob circumcised, but the patriarchs, the founding fathers of the tribes, the 12 tribes of Israel, they were circumcised, and they practiced the custom of circumcision. Okay, but Shechem and Hamor, those were Hamites or Africans. Okay, so-called Africans. Alright, you can read the story for yourself, but I just pull out that point to prove that our forefathers were keeping the custom of circumcision. Okay. Alright, so back to Sirach, chapter 44, verse 19. It says, Abraham was a great father of many people, and glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High, and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh, circumcision. When he was proved, he was found faithful. I think that's Genesis 22. You can read that, okay, on your own. It says, therefore he assured him by an oath that he will bless the nations in his seed, singular, which thou come through the line of Isaac, and that he would multiply him as the dust of the earth, and exalt his seed as the stars, and cause them to inherit from sea to sea, and from the river unto the uttermost part of the land. Which that's talking about Israel. Okay, which with Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men, right, of his descendants, and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing, and gave him an heritage, and divided his portion among the 12 tribes did he parted them. Okay, so the custom of circumcision was always something that was given to Israel. Okay, now this is second Ezra 3 and 35. It says, or when was it that they which dwelt upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight, or what people have so kept thy commandments? Okay, thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. Okay, but not the heathen. And what's one of the customs that was given to Israel? Circumcision. Okay, and the reason why the other nations ain't gonna keep it is because of this. Psalms 147:19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Okay, because that was a statute Alright? And that's part of the Lord's word that he gave to Jacob, or the children of Israel, the law of circumcision. He have not dealt so with any nation. So he wasn't dealing with these other nations. That's why they were known in the Old Testament. They was known as the uncircumcision. Okay, because in the Bible there's two types of uncircumcision. There's the uncircumcision in the flesh, which that's naturally talking about the other nations, the heathens. Okay, and then there's the uncircumcision in the heart, meaning in the mind, meaning that this was something that Israel could be considered uncircumcised in their heart, because they were acting like the other nations. Okay, they weren't obedient to the word of the Lord, so they became uncircumcised in their heart. Okay, Psalms 147:20. He have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. So they wouldn't know what the Lord desires. That's why they ain't gonna keep his precepts. Praise ye the Lord. Okay. Romans 2:14. It says, for when the Gentiles, now that Gentile right there is talking about Israelite foreigners, alright, which that will include the 10 tribes as well, because we would be considered foreigners because we was far off from the land of Israel. Okay. Alright. And by the time the Spanish and the Europeans came to this side of the world and started to take the land and put us in captivity and butcher us, alright, by the time they came, we had lost a good portion of our heritage. But it was still certain things we was keeping, because it's in our spirit to keep it. Alright. It says, for when the Gentiles which have not the law do by nature the things contained in the law, like circumcision, not eating pork, these have not the law, are a law unto themselves. Alright, which shall the work of the law written in their hearts, meaning in their mind, their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another. Okay. Alright. And that's something that Jake does even to this day. There's certain things that prior to coming to this truth, or learning about that we're Israelites, it was certain things that, or customs or laws that we kept naturally without even knowing that it was a law in the scriptures, that we did because it was just something that seemed right in our mind, like that past scripture said. This is Romans 8:16. It says, the Spirit, which is the word, itself beareth witness with our spirit, okay, that we are the children of God. Okay, so I'm gonna read a little bit more of this, and then I'm gonna wrap it up, because there's only like a couple more inserts about this, about the circumcision. But I mean, if you can't see that, or you can see it, but you still want to be a jackass, meaning stubborn, and don't want to take heed to it, well, you know what? Death and destruction to you. Okay, that's all I can say to you. Death and destruction. All right, because it's evident that the Latinos Native Americans are Israelites, because they were keeping the custom of circumcision. That's just one of many things you could go into to prove that the Latinos and Native Americans are the lost 10 tribes. Alright? And that they are related to the so-called Negros, which are the real Jews. Okay? Alright? Where I'm at. Okay. Alright. I'll read this. It says, it will be remarked that Gamaliel says that Saveza circumcised their children on the 8th day after their birth, By the covenant which God made with Abraham, the Jews circumcised their children